What is up, guys? It's Monday. Well, for you it's Tuesday, I'm sure. It might be Monday night when I get this up. I don't know. I never know.
And I finally found that life goes on without you, and the world still turns when you're not around.
But you know what I do know is I have an extra like 5 to 10 minutes of riding before I have to go to work, so I'm taking a little longer route in hopes that my stator can give my battery a little bit more charge, because I'm not really surprised at all this morning that I had to jump the bike again. But hopefully if I give it enough juice now this morning, by the time I get off work, I'll be able to just, you know, hit the starter button and crank her over and go. And you know, doing this route, it kind of sucks because I don't get to go fast for as long as I normally do on my way to work. It's always fun just hauling ass and getting there quick, but this is always fun. I get to go through campus and see all the college kids freezing their asses off walking on their way to class. At the same point, I get to go a little slower, and I'll be able to do some reflecting on some things I had go on last week. So if any of you know me in real life, you know that my grandpa passed away 2 weeks ago. It was a really tough time for me. My grandpa and I, we weren't that close. I mean, he was my grandpa, so I loved him, but as far as like a close relationship, that's not something we ever had, being for the most of my life I lived in Nebraska and he always lived in Minnesota. So I was only lucky enough to see him, you know, maybe once a year, maybe twice a year. And even when I did live in Minnesota, I was still far enough away that it was only the major family gatherings, you know, like Thanksgiving and times like that I'd actually get to see my grandpa. But this is my third of my grandparents. My two grandmas, they all passed a year and 2 years ago. But it was easier to deal with my grandmas because they both had really bad dementia and Alzheimer's and other issues going on. So we were expecting it, you know, like we saw it coming for a long time out, and so we'd mentally prepared for them to be gone. And so it was easy. Like when we got the call and we finally found out, like we had expected it for a long time. Dude, this is crazy, man. I have not been on campus since they got rid of all these stoplights. This used to be a one-way. Now they made it a two-way, and they made this an all-way stop. So, you know, the students don't give a crap about leaving spacing for the cars to go here and there. There we go. We should be able to get a couple. Come on. Let's go, let's go, let's go. You can beat this girl. Yeah, you got it. He knows what's up. But you know, with my grandpa, he was doing just fine. Granted, he was 94 years old, but he was still doing just fine. The only time he'd ever end up in the hospital was, you know, little weird stuff of like he'd get a cold and his body just couldn't fight it as well. So when I got that phone call, man, like it just hit me like a brick wall right in the face. So it was really weird. Like, I don't know, I've never lost anybody that close to me that quickly. So it was really hard, at least for the first, you know, like 36 hours. But my parents went back up to Minnesota to take care of all the initial things. Then they came back and we went up this last week. His funeral was last week Wednesday. Based on my schedule, I chose to drive up that day, so I left at like 5 in the morning, drove straight up there, got to the funeral about 40 minutes early before visitation started, which was fantastic. Had a great funeral service. My dad was ex-Army, back from World War II days, so we got to see the military send-off, and that was my first time seeing that in person. I'll put up a little clip right here.
Order! March! Firing squad, ready! Aim! Fire! Aim! Fire! Aim! Fire! Order! Hard! Freeze, man! Hard!
Yeah, dude, it was incredibly meaningful. It was like almost instant tears. But then we went and buried him out next to my grandma. Went back to the house, got to go through some things and claim some things that we wanted. My brother brought his pickup, so we brought some stuff home, and we hung out for a little bit, jumped in the cars, we all drove home. It was a great day. It was very meaningful. It was nice. It was nice to be able to go see him, spend the whole time with my family, and be a part of it. But with that all said, when Friday rolled around and we had that beautiful weather, dude, and I was able to jump on the bike, like, that took me from a week and a half of dealing with the sadness and stress of having lost somebody, dude, and I went from like a 2 on a 1 to 10 happy scale to like a 20, dude. It just put me in this whole new mood bracket. So if I seemed a little over the top, well, that's why, man. It was from one end of the spectrum to the extreme on the other, and it was fantastic. But it felt so good to get out on the bike and ride and make a video. It's a little colder today, but I wanted to keep it going, man. I had a good weekend too. Saturday, I was able to bottle up a batch of beer I made. I brewed a red ale. If you like craft beer, listen up. So I brewed a red ale that I took the recipe out of one of the kits, but then I modified it. So not only is it a red ale body, but then I took some extra hops. I did 2 extra ounces of Cascade hops, and I made it so it's gonna have a nice IPA finish. So it'll be a nice, like, medium-bodied, full-flavored IPA. So it's not gonna be as thin and, you know, watered down feeling as a regular IPA. But oh, dude, I gave a little taste before I bottled it up, dude, and I'm so excited, man, and my fingers are frozen. I knew this would be a problem of taking this long way, but it's all right. It feels fantastic.
Soon after.
Come on, Lola, get your shit together, man. So totally inconvenient. I totally spaced off at doing a longer ride, and probably not charging my camera the best the other night after I recorded that last video. I should have stopped halfway through and put in a fresh battery. I lost a good couple minutes worth of talking, and I can't remember everything that I talked about, and I'm pretty sure it was good stuff. So I got a fresh battery now. I got to get all that stuff that I can remember back in the video, and we'll move on from there. So one thing I do remember talking about is, you remember back in January, that first video of 2019 I made, I mentioned that I would go through the 3 different quality settings of 1080 to 2.7K and then to 4K. Well, I did that. The first one was 1080. The second one was 2.7K. But when I went to export the video Friday night, the one I uploaded on Saturday, I could only export it in iMovie at 1080. So there is no point right now for me to go to 4K, being that the best I can export is 1080. So we are back to 1080 at 60 frames a second on this one, and that's where I'm gonna be for the time being. You know, and part of the reason I rode today, and I'm kind of bummed about that too, is the weather said it was supposed to be 5 to 10 mile an hour wind all day. It was supposed to be a little chillier than it's going to be tomorrow, but tomorrow says 35 mile an hour wind gusts. Yet today is definitely more than 5 to 10. It's more like 10 to 15 with like 20 mile an hour wind gusts. And the 20 degrees cooler that it was today, and compared to what tomorrow's gonna be, oh man, I can feel it. And I definitely either need to get a new battery or at least get this battery on a charger, because I haven't ridden a long enough ride to juice the battery back up to normal health. I'm tired of jumping it every time I need to ride. Ooh, somebody's got a chimney fire, campfire going on right now, dude, and it smells amazing. It's one thing I like about these chillier nights. Oh, the smell of a campfire is so good. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching as always, and until I see you next time, bye.
Come and go now as you please. Your actions write the melodies. to the songs that we sing, and you still sing.